Deep in the basement of Saifair Shalom, there's a dusty library that's really the home of a magical bookcase to another world, where Micah and Miri and their friends are home, where there's wolves and hares living fairy tales, Mr. Saifair, the golem, and glass shoe sales. So come join us for the magic and mystery, maybe even a bit of Jewish history. Auntie PJ's here to give us a taste of all the adventures beyond the bookcase, beyond the bookcase, beyond the bookcase.
And they hit each other with leeks?
Yep, leeks. Did you know that leeks are a member of the allium family? Hey, wait a second. Hey!
Whoops, gotta go. Sorry, bye.
What? Stop!
So I thought to myself, I don't need a chair necessarily, but a cushion would be nice.
Well, they should have been expecting you, right? Oh, hello, kids. Wasn't expecting to see you here.
Auntie PJ! Elijah! We think Joha might have just popped in.
We just missed him. Again.
Again? How frustrating.
Just like the time we were searching for pirate gold in Bahamian caves. We were so close to the gold we could see it glinting in the light of our headlamps. And then...
And then a rock slide buried the treasure and made it all but impossible to get out.
We thought for sure we were goners.
It wasn't funny then, but it's funny now.
Did that really happen?
Just a few days before Passover, too.
And we didn't have a stitch of matzah on us. Plus, oxygen was running out. So we knew we had to find a way to escape. And fast. Nobody left the cave door open for Elijah, that's for sure.
This story sounds amazing. Could you tell us about your cave adventures? And how you escaped?
Yeah, and the pirate gold?
Please.
Well, I suppose we do have a bit of extra time. Shall we, Elijah?
If you insist.
Once upon a time.
Could you at least wipe your muddy shoes on the mat, Elijah? The door's always open for you, of course, but a little common courtesy goes a long way.
At Mr. Saifair's house in Mashal on the first night of Passover.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Saifair. You're right. Where are my manners?
I'm sorry, too. Passover is always a little stressful for me, since I'm a bit particular about my seder. I mostly like peace and quiet. And clean floors.
And a healthy bit of horseradish.
Touché.
Well, let us know how we can help. And thank you for having us. We're going to be seder-hopping this evening, since we were invited to several seders in Mashal. But we wanted to be sure to check in with you first.
Right, I invited you. As a polite gesture I thought you'd never follow through on. Well, thank you. And now that you've checked in with me, feel free to keep moving.
Oh, well, we just got here.
We can stay a little longer.
You know, now that you've brought it up, Elijah, I am low on my favorite ingredient of all time.
The horseradish.
Horseradish. Do you think you could check at the other seders and collect more for me? I'm making my famous horseradish soup, and I don't think I'll have quite enough to really give it that horseradishy tang I love so much.
How do you make horseradish soup?
It's simple, really. Horseradish, plus water to taste. But without enough horseradish, my seder will be ruined. Please, Elijah and PJ, can you help?
Sure. We were heading over to Marion's house next anyway. We can see if she has any extra horseradish for you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, out with you two, go on. I'll see you when you have lots of horseradish for me. And when I say I need a lot, I mean it. But don't rush, take your time. If I don't see you for several hours and my seder ends, that's just how the matzah crumbles. And I'll have horseradish soup for dinner tomorrow. Hag Sameach. Phew, that was a close one. I almost had to be social on a holiday. Now, for some nice, relaxing alone time. Just me and the gefilte fish.
I guess Mr. Saifair really loves his horseradish.
It is his favorite. Ah, there's Marion's house. There's no mistaking that shoe.
PJ, we weren't expecting you until a little later.
Marion, this is my friend Elijah.
Of course. Wonderful to meet you at last, Elijah. Normally, we keep the door open for you, but I didn't want any of the children to make a run for it. Or did I? I mean, come in.
How are all the kids?
Well, there are a lot of them, and somebody's always crying. But please, come join us. We're just about to start the Seder. And Chicken Little's here, too.
Kids, you gotta stop pulling on my feathers! Hey, that hurts!
Children! Everyone, please, stop pestering Chicken Little and take a seat. We have guests.
Oh, I get it. You are the old woman who lives in a shoe. You have so many children, you don't know what to do.
I don't know how many times I have to say this. I'm not even 30 yet. I'm not old. But yes, there are too many children here. I don't think all these are mine.
Sorry.
It's okay. Common misconception. Here, help me pour the grape juice. I've got a lot of thirsty kids. Everybody, raise your glass. And remember to recline a bit, too. Chicken Little, would you do the honors?
You got it, Marion! We praise God, ruler of everything, who creates the fruit of the vine. We praise God, ruler of everything, who has kept us alive, raised us up, and brought us to this moment.
Time for everyone to wash hands.
Ooh, it's veggie time.
That's right, Chicken Little. Carp us. We'll dip our green vegetables in salt water, representing the tears of the slaves. Everyone take some parsley and pass it down. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, borei peri ha'adamah. We praise God, Spirit of the universe, who creates the fruits of the earth.
We're really cranking along with this Seder.
When you have several dozen kids, you learn that you have to get to the festive meal as soon as possible. PJ, Elijah, would you mind breaking the afikomen, the middle matzah, and hiding it? The kids always say I don't hide it well enough.
Absolutely. But then we should head out to the next Seder. Oh, I almost forgot. Marion, do you have any extra horseradish we could bring to Mr. Saifair?
Of course. I have a few spare jars in the cupboard over by the laces. Feel free to take what you need.
Thank you. Chag Sameach, kids. I'm going to hide this afikomen so well, you may not find it for days.
Great. Thanks, Elijah.
You put it under the tongue of the shoe? They really will be looking forward for days.
I'm really good at hiding things. Remember the Jewel of Amalfi?
How could I forget? Oh, there's Snow White's cottage.
PJ, Elijah, I'm so sorry. I would have left the door open for you, but the birds get distracted and tend to fly away if I do. Come, join us. We were just about to tell the story of Passover. We'd love some help. The birds can't wait. It's their favorite part. The squirrels are pretty excited, too. And Golem's here.
Hello, friends.
Golem! Long time no see.
PJ, you just missed me singing the 4 questions. I never get to ask them because I'm never the youngest. Because I'm this many.
You don't look a day over 800.
Thank you. Snow White knows I've always wanted to sing them, so she let me do it anyway. Want to hear it? Ma nishta na ha laila, Ha! Okay, birdies, I get it. You want to get straight to the story. Maybe I'll sing the questions for you another time, PJ. Here we go. In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh enslaved the Jews. One day, the pharaoh's daughter finds a little Jewish baby floating down the river in a basket. She knows he's Jewish, but takes pity on him, names him Moses, and raises him as a son. When Moses grows up, he leaves the palace and sees his people suffering. God tells him to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go. And Moses does. But Pharaoh says no. As punishment, God sends 10 plagues to Egypt.
With each plague, we remove 1 drop of wine or juice from our cup to recognize the suffering of the Egyptian people.
Birdies, you can use your beaks. I'd use my finger, but it is much too large to fit in the glass. Plus, it gets messy. So, I'll use a toothpick.
Blood? Frogs? Lice? Flies? Disease? Boils? Hail? Locusts? Darkness? Death of the firstborn?
After the last plague, the Pharaoh at last let the Jews go. They left so quickly they didn't have time for their bread to rise. However, Pharaoh changed his mind a few days later and sent his armies after the Jews. Moses raised his staff and split the sea so the Jews could pass through safely. But when Pharaoh's soldiers tried to follow, the waters closed back up, and the Jews were protected and safe.
Oh, thank you, Golem. Wonderful job.
You're welcome, Snow White.
And now, Korach, the Hillel sandwich. Some matzah? A bit of the lovely charoset our squirrels made with apples and walnuts.
The squirrels made the charoset?
They always do.
Is that sanitary?
I'm sure they washed their paws first.
And we add some of our bitter herb, the maror, and create our sandwich named after Rabbi Hillel, who invented it. We're taking the bitter with the sweet. Life's like that. Bitter and sweet sometimes. Don't you think?
This maror has some real zip to it.
The maror! We nearly forgot. Poor Mr. Saifair is all alone without enough horseradish. Snow White, do you have any extra horseradish we could borrow?
I'm sure we have a jar to spare in the cabinet.
I'll grab it on our way out.
Thank you so much for having us, Snow White. We've got to get going. Now I'm expected to come through a lot of doors on Passover. But let me just grab a quick drink from that beautiful cup in the middle of the table.
We set it out just for you, Elijah.
Good stuff. Chag Sameach.
Nice to see you, PJ.
Always a pleasure, Golem. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for everything.
Wow. Is this Cinderella's castle?
It is. And I bet the castle pantry is chock full of horseradish. Ooh, watch for the moat. Here comes the drawbridge. Perfect. And the door's already open. You're just going to walk right in?
We've discussed this. I'm Elijah. I'm pretty much always welcome.
Hello? Anyone home?
PJ, is that you? We're in the banquet hall.
Oh, wow. That's
And he was also an egg?
Cinderella, Prince Charming, and lots of soldiers and horses.
Oh, how wonderful. PJ and Elijah, you made it. We've been expecting you.
And is that Humpty Dumpty?
None other. Pleased to meet you. Charmed, I'm sure. Just joking. I'm friends with all the king's horses and all the king's men, so they invited me to Cinderella's Passover dinner.
And you're just in time. We're about to find the afikoman. I hit it very well this year, if I do say so myself.
Oh, it's on. PJ, remember that time we found the hidden skeleton key that unlocked the treasure chest?
Ready, set, go!
Guess that's a story for another time. Let's go. Elijah, check under the palace staircase.
No dice, PJ.
Has anyone looked under the throne cushion?
Just looked. No afikoman. I'll search the jewel vault.
Warmer?
Maybe under the seder plate.
Too easy.
Oh.
How about behind the wall tapestry?
Warmer,
Good idea.
Warmer.
Or maybe.
It's hot, you're burning up. Oh, looks like my horse Guinevere found it. Perhaps I shouldn't have hidden it in her feed bag. Oh well, time for dessert. Chocolate-covered matzah and macaroons for everyone.
Cinderella, I was just noticing your seder plate as I was hunting for the afikoman. What's that you have in place of an egg?
Oh, why, it's an avocado pit. It's round, well, roundish, and symbolizes the circle of life, just as an egg would. We're having an egg-free seder this year.
Aw, very considerate.
That reminds me of Mr. Saifair's beloved avocado tree, Shirley. Elijah, we nearly forgot again. Cinderella, do you have any horseradish we could bring to Mr. Saifair?
Of course! We always keep a crate of it on hand, just in case any guest wants horseradish soup.
Is that really a thing? I thought for sure Saifair made it up.
It's a thing. It's just not really a good thing.
We should go. Mr. Saifair is all alone at his seder, waiting for the horseradish.
Leaving so soon? What a shame. The Bremen Town band just arrived at the front gates. We're about to really get things started.
Oh no, I would have loved to see Dolores the donkey again.
Wait, I have an idea.
A good idea?
Let's just call it an idea for now and save the judgments for later.
Well, it's been a quiet seder, I'll say that much for it. But Saifair, that's what you wanted, right? Peace and quiet and some alone time. That's your very favorite thing. So why does alone time feel so lonely on a holiday? Finding the afikoman isn't exactly a challenge when you have to hide it yourself, and you're the only one searching.
Follow me, everyone. Whee! I've always wanted to be a band leader, even more than I've always wanted to ask the 4 questions.
Is that? No, it can't be. Oh dear, I thought that was a drum, but it's just Golem's giant stomping feet. And there's the Bremen Town Band. And Snow White. And Chicken Little. And the woodland creatures. And Marian and all her children. And Cinderella and Prince Charming. And Humpty Dumpty and all the king's horses and all the king's men. And they're coming this way. Here we go.
Hi, Mr. Saifair. Happy Passover. We brought you horseradish.
Lots and lots and lots of horseradish.
Did you hide the afikoman yet?
I did. But I also already found it.
We could hide it again. Can we come in?
Please?
Oh, okay, fine. I'll get the horseradish soup going. It is nice to have some company, but just this once. Don't get any ideas, people.
Let's pour that last glass of juice and get to singing.
PJ, if you had just come back with Elijah and some horseradish, would have been enough.
And after Passover ends in 8 days, the mermaids have invited us all to Mamuna by the beach. A big party with all the chametz you could want.
I'm not much of a party person. In fact, I'm not a person at all. More of a worm.
You won't want to miss all the delicious Moroccan foods, like moufleta.
What's muffletta?
Like a buttery crepe to eat with honey, jam, fruit, anything you like.
Horseradish?
I mean, I guess.
Okay, I'm in. Now, let's party before I change my mind. Dolores, do you know Hadgadia by chance? It's my favorite.
You know it. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Hadgadia, 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 Hadgadia.
And that's the story of the time Elijah and I were almost trapped in a pirate cave but managed to escape.
Wait, what? No, it wasn't.
Now that I'm thinking about it more, are you sure that pirate cave thing happened to us, PJ?
I remember it very clearly, yes.
I'm pretty sure you're just remembering that movie we saw, The Mystery of the Pirate Caves?
Oh, yes, you're right, of course. That was just part of a movie we saw while we were out hunting for Mayan treasure. But that's a story for another time.
Face it, Blue. We're never going to hear any of these stories.
The Passover story was still pretty good. Can you imagine Mr. Saifair dealing with all those people at his house?
True. It was a good story. And it made me want muffletta. Just not with horseradish.
Just 8 more days till Mimuna. Maybe the mermaids will invite us too. Hey, what's that glowing stick over there?
Beyond the bookcase.